J Squad.
What's good, champs? It's your boy Jerry, and welcome back to another episode of Champion Talk. And today's episode is going to be a great one. ESPN has gave us something to talk about. Yesterday, they came out with a list. It's top 25 players under the age of 25. A lot of great players on that list. And, it was controversial. The list may shock you a little bit. And then, the Clippers have been playing some great basketball lately, been adding a lot of pieces. And we're going to discuss if they might, if they may be the deepest team in the NBA right now. And then Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday has been, he's just got a payday. $160 million, I think, is his contract. So we're going to discuss that. And we're going to talk about if Drew Holiday is worth that type of money. And, of course, we're going to talk about other news, NBA news and updates, man. So, we're going to stick it up. We're going to start it off with that list. Now, that list, the controversy comes in at that number 3 spot. At the number 3 spot was Lamelo Ball. Now the list is the list is based off, future potential. But Lamelo Ball was at number 3, and he was listed above players like Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum, and Devin Booker. Now coming in at number 1 and 2 was Zion at 2, Luka at 1. There's no arguments there. But Lamelo Ball, a rookie who's played half of a season in the NBA, is ranked on future value over players like Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum, and most importantly, Devin Booker. Devin Booker was number 9 on this list. And Mitchell was 4, and Jason Tatum was 5. Now, I love LaMelo. He's great. He's a fun player to watch. He's a great player to watch. He makes all his teammates better, make the right plays, make the right pass. And he's not afraid of anything. But, at this moment, with the season Devin Booker and the Suns are having, the season Donovan Mitchell and the Utah Jazz are having, it's just, it's a little disrespectful to have him above those guys. I'm not saying LaMelo Ball is not going to be great in the future, but, he hasn't proven that he's going to be better than Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum, and Devin Booker over the span of the next 10 years. So, I just think, ESPN, they can find themselves up in, what is the term? Recency biasm. I think that's what it is. I think they just, it's the hype, man. And even they most entertaining employee, Stephen A. Smith, said, whoever made that list, the editors for that list need to get drug tested. And, I agree with him. That list was crazy. But I agree with Luka, and Luka and Zion being number 1 and number 2. And another discussion from that list, them two guys, some people think Zion should be number 1 and Luka 2. And man, Luka is so much better than almost everybody on that list. It's not even close. This guy has been playing professional basketball at the age of 13, 14 years old. And he came into the NBA looking like, he was already a mature basketball player. The numbers he put up, averaging like 28 points, 9 and 9. That's ridiculous at his age. I think Luka right now is like 21 or 20 years old. So, I think, Zion, he has great potential just based on the fact that he's super athletic, super fast, unstoppable, can't do nothing about it. But he just doesn't have, the shooting ability that Luka does. Zion is his playmaking in this game a long way since Duke, but it's not on the playmaking level of but Luka Doncic. And so I think the Mavericks got it right there with having Luka at number 1. And that was a pretty interesting list. But I think ESPN need to humble LaMelo, because that's kind of high. That's kind of high on that list, even if they is predicting the future. I don't see that yet. But the Los Angeles Clippers, we all know their story. We all know their story from last season. The second round, choked 3-1. Has been the laughing stock of the league ever since. And they've been trying to get better. In the offseason, Kawhi Leonard voiced that he needed a point guard. The season start, they didn't get it. Didn't get that. They was looking for, basically a floor general. And, Rondo was a free agent. He ended up signing with the Hawks. But, luckily for them, they was able to acquire him at the trade deadline, got rid of Lou Will. So they done added John Rondo. And then recently they done added, first, their other offseason acquisitions. They got Nicholas Batum, who's been playing great for them. A great two-way player. He's been hitting his threes. They signed Serge Ibaka, who's injured right now. And, Serge Ibaka is your ideal center you want today. He can defend the rim and he can shoot threes, So he's been a great pickup for them. And then recently, Boogie Cousins have, signed a 10-day with them. He got some action last night, played, I think. He didn't play too long, probably like 10, 11 minutes, but he had 7 points, like 4 assists and 4 rebounds, so he looked good. So the Los Angeles Clippers are, like Rondo said, they're championship or bust, and that's how they've been playing. That's how they've been, they've been vultures when it comes to making their team better. And they've just been playing some great basketball lately. Last night they played the Portland Trail Blazers, stumped them guys out. Really had Dame in a box, had them boxed up. He was 2 for 14, had like 8 points, 10 points, and it was hard to watch. I'm a big Dame fan. It was kind of, it was irking me. But Paul George, the biggest question mark on the Clippers. He came out last night and dropped 20 second, but he dropped 22 points. He dropped 22 points in the first quarter, and Kawhi Leonard ended up having 29 at the end of the game, and these guys have just been playing some really great basketball. They've been rolling, haven't been losing of late. They had that loss to they lost to some team that they shouldn't have lost to last week. But anyways, the Clippers. Now, would I call them the deepest team in the NBA? I would say that. You look at their roster, they got depth at every position. You look at the big man spot, they got Zubac and Serge Ibaka. Them guys have been given productive minutes this year. You look at the point guard spot, you got Rondo, Reggie Jackson, Pat Bev. You look at the two guard, or basically we gonna call them wing players, man. You really nowadays you don't know who a shooting guard or a small forward. So they got Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Luke Kennard, Nicholas Batum, now Boogie Cousins. So the Clippers got a pretty interesting team. So we gonna see what they do in the postseason. I would call them the deepest team. I'm not saying they're the most talented, but depth and talent. We all know the Brooklyn Nets are the most talented team, but depth and talent are two different things. And I would call the Clippers the most. I would say they have the most depth right now. So be on the lookout for the Los Angeles Clippers. We're gonna see what they do come post time, because that's the only thing we could judge them off of as of right now. So, and then moving on. Drew Holiday, he just secured the bag, $160 million, $160 million extension, I think, over 5 years. And if we're gonna be honest, if I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna be blunt. That's overpayment for him. But in today's, I guess the game is just the NBA. The money is just changing, it's going up. Because a player like Drew Holiday, I don't think he's ever been to an All-Star game, maybe one. He got a max contract. He got $160 million. So, that's crazy to me. Although he's a great defender and he can create for himself, but, 160 mil, come on, man, that's ridiculous. So, but it is Milwaukee. Like, who is Milwaukee going to attract in free agency? Not a lot of people, but I think this is gonna force Giannis out of Milwaukee, man. Because I think before Brooklyn acquired all that talent, I think Giannis had, I believe they would have got, without Harden, I believe they would have beat Brooklyn and Philly in the playoffs. I feel like they would have got to the finals this year. But with the way Brooklyn has Brooklyn has stacked the deck, I don't think I don't think they would. I don't think they would be able to beat the Nets. Maybe if Giannis could, if he come into the playoffs being the player that he is in the regular season, I think the Bucks would, get to the finals and win the finals. But Giannis is a completely different player in the finals. But I mean, not in the finals, but in the playoffs. But my final take on that, I think Drew Holiday. I'm happy for him. He got his money. We love seeing anybody get their money, but I think the Milwaukee Bucks, I think they overpaid on him. But we're gonna see how that go. We're gonna see how he played for them in the playoffs, and see if he was that missing piece that they needed. So that's my take on that. And moving on, some other news: Kevin Durant makes his return tonight. They probably playing right now as I make this video. It's kind of late at night, but he made his return tonight against the Pelicans. And sadly, no James Harden. James Harden went out their last game against the Knicks with a with a hamstring injury. He hurt his hamstring. So now we think we about to see the fully loaded Nets, and then James Harden go down. So the crazy thing is about the Nets, I think their big three, Harden, Kyrie, and KD, I think they had probably about 8 games they played together, so we haven't seen too much of them. And the scary thing is they're number one in the East right now. They're number one in the East without playing 100% all year, playing with different lineups all year. I mean, that's just how talented their team is. And I don't know. Should we be worried about that? As of right now, no. But come playoff time, we seen what happened to the Clippers last year. How they they said their chemistry affected them in the playoffs, and that the same thing can happen to Brooklyn. And the thing about Brooklyn, those players are so brand new to each other, it can implode, explode very quickly, because them guys don't really, they haven't played together. In the playoffs, it gets real different. In a 7-game series, it's totally different. These players are trying their hardest on defense, and so we gonna see, man. We gonna see. I think right now the Brooklyn Nets are good, but they got to get healthy. They got to get these guys on the court together before the season is over, or it could be detrimental to them. But the upside is you got the 3 best offensive players in the league, so only so much can go wrong. So we gonna keep our eyes on them. But and then this is probably gonna be the last thing we talk about. This is something that's crazy to me. It's funny, but it's not funny. Paul Pierce has been let go from ESPN. I'm pretty sure if all of you guys have seen what happened on his live. If you haven't seen it, just YouTube it. It went viral. Went viral on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. But basically, Paul Pierce was on Instagram Live over this past weekend, basically just having fun, man. And he was smoking what looked like a blunt. He was smoking maybe weed. I don't know. Maybe it was a cigar. But he got fired, so it probably wasn't a cigar. But and then he had half naked women in the background, and then man. But a couple of days later, ESPN parted ways with him. And I honestly don't know. I don't know. I don't know where I stand on that, because ESPN is supposed to be family friendly, but and then Paul Pierce, it looked like he was just having a good time, man. He was just having a good time. He's on the live telling the girls, like, hey, you could be down here, you be over here making some money. So I don't know what Paul Pierce was on. Then he said he had something cooking up. So I might have to follow Paul Pierce on Instagram, man, to see. Paul Pierce, he's a character, man. He's a character. I'm gonna miss having him on NBA Countdown, because he always said some ridiculous stuff. Like he said he's a better wing shooter than Klay Thompson. He said he was better than Dwayne Wade. And it was just funny. It was good for ESPN. So it's gonna be sad to that it had to end like that. I don't know. That was weird to me, but. That was weird, but that's going to be it for this episode. If you enjoyed, if you're on YouTube watching this, leave a like, comment for me and subscribe. The subscribe would be great, man. We upload weekly. Not only do we upload podcast episodes, but we do fun other little videos. Like my last video was, on the effect that Chris Paul brings to every team that he ever plays on. So, go check that out. It was a great video. And then, for all my podcasters out there, if you're listening on Apple, Spotify. I mess this up every time, but if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, subscribe, leave a review. It'd be greatly appreciated. And if you're on Spotify, follow me, man. But that's it for this episode. And enjoy your day, weekend, night, man. Whenever you're watching this, and that's curtains.